Welcome to another Telltale Books video. I'm continuing my Harlan Ellison series with his 23rd published work in my bibliography, a story called Stand Still and Die. The story was published in Guilty magazine in September of 1956. It's another of his street gang stories, but this one's a little different from the others that I've read, and I'll explain why very shortly. I have this story. It was originally published in Guilty magazine. The stories in my book were originally collected into a paperback in, I think it was 1959 or 1960, published under the title Juvie or Juvies, one of those two. After that, Harlan Ellison changed the title for later reprintings to Children of the Streets, and that's the edition that I have. And I'm reading all the stories from Children of the Streets in this, which is a Severn House book that was published in when was this published? 2004. Looks like it was published in 2004. Stand Still and Die has a New York cab driver dropping off his latest fare, and as he's leaving, he sees down an alley some guy getting the crap kicked out of him. And this guy has like a suitcase secured to his wrist, and these kids are trying to get the suitcase off. So the cab driver goes down there. He's a Korean War veteran. He goes down there and tries to put a stop to this, only to be outnumbered and get the crap beaten out of him too. So he ends up in the hospital. But he's not willing to let it rest. He's going to go out and get revenge on these kids. And in doing this, he gets mixed up in something far bigger than what he expected. This was a good story. Only a short story. Kind of a longish short story, but not a novelette. And this story reads more like a mystery story, almost like if you're a fan of Alfred Hitchcock movies from the 1950s, movies like North by Northwest or The Man Who Knew Too Much, or really even To Catch a Thief, this story reads a lot like that. The average guy, average Joe, getting mixed up in something much bigger than him, and not just standing down and minding his own business, but pushing forward and trying to right the wrongs, even if just to clear his own name and get people off of his back. But that forces him to just keep getting deeper and deeper and deeper until he's way in deep and can't back out. That's a typical Alfred Hitchcock movie plot from the 1950s. And that's a lot what you get here. I feel that this could have made a really good Alfred Hitchcock movie. One thing I didn't like so much about it is, now Ellison is a terrific writer, and even at this time, he's doing some very good writing. The characters are really well built. The plotting is really excellent. And in building the characters, having them speak the kind of street talk of the times, most of it comes off perfectly, but there was this one phrase. Well, this isn't the phrase I was thinking of, but this is kind of like it. And it does establish the character, and maybe people really did talk this way back then. I don't know. I wasn't alive when this was published. But the main character, it's written in first person, by the way. The main character says, "My throat was dry as an empty gas tank." And there was another one. something about sheets and laundry that just, when I read it, I thought, seriously? That is so corny. You know, like, it just felt it. Like I say, maybe that's the way people really did talk in the streets of New York or Brooklyn back then. But today it comes across as kind of corny and laughable. It's the way people talk in bad mystery movies when they want to sound like they're talking tough and they say those kinds of things. It really didn't, come across as believable for a tough guy character. And that's the only thing that holds this story back from being really, really good. Overall, aside from those, and they're really rare moments where the phrases seem silly, overall, an excellent story and recommended if you like street gang type stuff, if you like 1950s um, gang type stuff, if you like Harlan Ellison, if you just like a mystery story, this story is a good one for you. Stand Still and Die was published in September of 1956. We move on to October of 1956, and he actually has three, four, five, six stories that were published that month. And so flip a coin as to which one was first. I'm going to call Homicidal Maniac number 24 the next story, but I wasn't there. I don't know. Homicidal Maniac could have been the last one to hit the newsstands that month, for all I know. But that'll be my next one, Homicidal Maniac by Harlan Ellison. So, if you follow me all the time, you know what to do. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Leave comments. Have you read Children of the Streets? What do you think? What do you think overall of these gangland stories that Ellison wrote? They're different from the rest of his fiction. They have a lot of the edge and anger that Ellison would bring into his science fiction fantasy, but they're not science fiction fantasy at all. They're pretty straightforward literary fiction. And what do you think about this? Was it a good thing for Ellison to do that and write those books? Or do you think it was taking him away from what he was best at? These stories at this time were definitely better than his science fiction and fantasy stories that he was publishing. So anyway, leave your comments, leave your thoughts in the comments on this video, and come on back for more. I've got a lot more Ellison, a lot more of other authors coming for you, and I'll be here doing them.